From the first reading and also from the gospel, we hear of two different encounters which are very similar to each other. The first encounter is Abraham welcoming the men that were on a journey. He welcomed them, he invited them to his home, and he asked the wife to prepare a meal for them. And the other encounter from the gospel is about Jesus being welcomed by Mary and Martha, two sisters with different personalities. In these two different encounters, we see from the first one in the book of Genesis that Sarah was content with what she was doing. She never complained, to the point that the strangers had to invite her. They had to ask Abraham, "Where is your wife Sarah?" And in the gospel, we hear of Martha complaining, "Lord, why do you let my sister stay with you while I do the serving by myself?" And Jesus responded to her, "Martha, Martha, you worry so much. You are so anxious. There is need for only one thing. And Mary, your sister, has taken it. It will not be taken away from her." And what is this one thing that Jesus is talking about? This one thing is to be in the presence of God, like we heard in the responsorial psalm. The just man, he who does justice, will live in the presence of God. Jesus wasn't responding to the work Martha was doing in the kitchen. Martha was doing a very nice job. She understands that Jesus must have been out there with his disciples teaching, and he must have been hungry and tired. She chose to go to the kitchen to prepare a meal for Jesus, which is a nice job. Jesus wasn't calling Martha out because she was in the kitchen, staying busy. But he was calling her out because she was complaining. She wasn't able to see the presence of God in what she was doing. She wasn't able to find God in the good works that she was doing. And she was complaining. Unlike Sarah, who found God in the good work that she was doing. She didn't complain, and the strangers had to invite her. That could have been the relationship between Jesus and Martha in the gospel. Jesus could have told Mary, her sister, "Where is Martha?" Invite her so that she can listen as well, like you're doing, and learn from me. And on the side of Mary, we see a gesture of humility, an act of listening to what God has to say to us. And that speaks to our Christian life and our prayer lives. Most times we come to Jesus, we come to God, and we do the talking. And we leave him with no time to speak to us. We fail to listen to him as he speaks to us. Jesus is always present. He desires that we come to him. He desires that we sit at his feet, a gesture of humility, which reminds me growing up when we sit at the feet of our elders and they tell us the history of our tribe, our community. That's a gesture of humility, recognizing the person before us, being greater than us. So in other words, we can say that Martha was not just humble in listening to Jesus. She wasn't just content with the presence of Jesus. She was adoring his presence. She was adoring his presence. Between these two sisters, Martha and Mary, both of them were doing great things. But the key point is, are we able to find the presence of God in all we are doing? Are we able to locate God in what we are doing? Are we able to be content with what we are doing? And to glorify God through our works, to glorify God through our act of listening, to glorify God through our humility. Cardinal Sarah, who I believe some of you know, says something about our culture, which is constantly distracting us from paying attention and being attentive to the voice of God, speaking in the midst of the noise, in the midst of our busyness, in the midst of our struggles in our daily lives. And he said this: the culture is so noisy that we are so much preoccupied with our activities that we give little time to God to listen to him. We do the talking. We are so preoccupied with our activities that in the end, we say nothing. So this is what we can learn from Mary, the act of listening to what God has to say to us. It's not always what we have to do for God. Sometimes we are being invited to listen to God, to look to him, and to enjoy all that he has to offer to us. And that was what Mary was doing. And Martha also on her own side was doing the same thing in a different way. She was busy doing the good works, but she failed to find God in the good works that she was doing. I would like to conclude with a song from a Protestant church called the City Alight from Australia. The title is The Goodness of Jesus. And in this song, we are being invited to bring our worries, our anxiousness to God, to bring them to the feet of Jesus so that he can take care of them. Come, you weary heart, now to Jesus. Come, you anxious soul, now and see. There is perfect love and comfort in your tears. Rest here in his wondrous peace. Oh, the goodness of Jesus. Satisfied, he is all that I need. May it become what may, that I rest all my days in the goodness of Jesus. May the Lord bless his words in our hearts. Amen.